Hey guys, Takamasak here, and I'm going to do a movie review today. I wanted to talk about the Scorch Trials movie. That is how I was introduced first to James Dashner and the Maze Runner trilogy. So I watched the Maze Runner first, and then read through all of the books on audiobook, and then I just this past weekend got around to watching the Scorch Trials. How was it? Eh. Plenty of action, at least. I can say that much. I go into it with a certain expectation that it's not going to talk a lot or completely about the book, but it seems like a lot of things got glossed over that would have been cool to see. For example, if I remember right, there were a lot more kids in the group that escaped the compound. And when this is just the first scene that came to my mind that I would have liked to see in the movie. But before they even made it out into the Scorch, they had to go through this really long tunnel where they couldn't see, but it just went straight on ahead of them. Absolutely can't see anything. But for some reason, there was like this liquid metal stuff. I don't remember if it ever said exactly what it was, but it would drip from the ceiling, and that's how they would weed out a few of the characters. This ball would fall, or the liquid metal would fall onto their head and cover their whole face, and then, well, obviously they would die from that. It sets a nice scene where it's pitch black, and then there's suddenly somebody screaming at the top of their lungs, and then all of a sudden you can't hear them anymore, and you just hear a clank on the ground. That was one of my favorite scenes from the book. Unfortunately not included in the movie, but the part just after that, the book made a huge deal about the Scorch, like being super bright and like just super hot and not something you should really be out in during the day as it's going to nuke you. But in the movie, it's pretty much just like, oh, it's just a summer day out like this. It looks nothing more than 80-some degrees outside, and they're just casually walking around. And when they escaped the complex, it was nighttime, at least, in a storm. Dust storm, if I recall correctly. But, yeah, it just seemed like it was really glossed over. I mean, especially if the movie's called The Scorch Trials. I think you should talk about what the Scorch was a little more than just saying, like a passing line where, oh yeah, this happened, moving on. It seemed like it wanted to cut out as much as it could and just give you a lot of the action with the cranks. For those who haven't read or seen the movie or read the book, cranks are what happens when this virus called the flare virus gets into your system. I don't recall exactly how it spread, but like getting clawed at and stuff like that by these guys will cause you to get it. I don't think it's like airborne or anything like that, but so yeah, the cranks provide a lot of the action in the movie. Most of the action. Most of the action, not all of it, but it's cool to see them with their eyes clawed out from themselves and the blood and the zombie. That's pretty much what they are. They're essentially normal moving zombies. But I wasn't terribly impressed with, like, say, the characters in the movie. It felt kind of bland. The story didn't seem like it was all put together. It seemed like it jumped, like I said, it seemed like it was missing a lot of cool things which would have been seen in the movie. And it didn't seem like they didn't have time. I mean, God, the movie, I think, is over 2 hours long, if I remember. I want to say 140-some minutes? 136? Someplace in that ballpark. So it seems like they had plenty of time to add more interesting things other than some of the crap they put in there. Some of the new characters, they're okay. I liked Brenda a lot in the book. I, for some reason, got really attached to that character. Again, in the movie, she makes an appearance, but it's like, meh, okay, I guess I'll buy that as Brenda. Not extremely great acting by anyone, but not terrible. I mean, it's definitely watchable for an action movie. But if you're going into it looking, or just after reading the book, you're going to be pretty disappointed. I think the first movie did a much better job with just more or less keeping to the story. I think mainly my most thought thing is they didn't really say much in the 2 hours they had. They introduced some characters and they ran from Wicked like you would expect. And again, just like with my book reviews, I want to not give out too much because I would like you to go see the movie because why not? I think it's only got about a 50% Rotten Tomatoes score, if that tells you anything. Not that it's necessarily the go-to thing, but let's see, speaking of characters, I don't know if you pronounce his last name Gillen or Jill. I wasn't terribly impressed with his Jansen. I like him a lot as an actor, especially when he was Littlefinger in Game of Thrones, I guess I should say is, although I'm not caught up in the newest season of that. That's neither here nor there. But he does an absolutely terrible Jansen. Maybe not so much his fault. Maybe that's the way he was told to play him. But it just seemed like a god-awful fit. I couldn't get that. Like, the scenes he was in, I just couldn't get past how poorly cast he was. Again, great actor, I think, in my opinion anyway, but just not there. Holy cow. In the book, that character is not very friendly, so to speak, doesn't give a crap about anything, especially these kids. And in the movie, he comes across as like a really nice guy. I don't remember ever him being like that at all in the books. I mean, maybe I'm misremembering something, but holy cow, just that was so bad. If there's any wish for me in the next movie, which I'd assume they're making if they made the first two, recast him. Holy cow, that I just, like I said, I couldn't get over it. Like, this is not that character. I don't feel that character whatsoever, and he doesn't look anywhere near like I picture Jansen would look either. So it really threw my mind off there. But yeah, unfortunately that pretty much covers my opinion of the movie, because the rest of it's just running from cranks, and there's the storm scene, which was very brief, and Mean Ho gets electrocuted, kind of, but everybody seems okay, and then, yeah. I could have asked for a lot more from the movie than it gave me. I wish there was a lot more that it gave me, but I hate saying it is what it is, but it is that. Worth a watch, I suppose, if you're into the movie. It's still fun to see all these things come to life. It's still fun to see the scenes that you know from the book in the movie. But yeah, as far as that goes, that's pretty much all I have to say about a 2-hour movie. Just a little bit of action. The story is, I guess I can pass it, but it's just, read the book. It's a lot better. But that's just my 2 cents on The Maze Runner. I have high hopes for the next movie. This is Takamasak. I'll see you later.